Good evening, everybody. It is Steve Lookner coming to you with breaking Lookner news. The news tonight is I still need a haircut. Now, this might come as a surprise to many of you who had watched Steve. Whoa, you're going to hear two of me for a second. I apologize. There you go. We're better now. This might come as a surprise to many of you who have seen Steve's streams during the past several days and know that Steve was saying even last week, even about a week ago, that he needed a haircut. So it might surprise you to know that Steve still needs a haircut. But indeed, it's getting to be a crisis situation. So we wanted to come on the air tonight and give you the latest updates on this situation. Also, we're going to be taking your comments on the air and your questions. So if you have a comment or a question about this breaking news of Steve still needing a haircut, the place you can write to is write to me on Twitter. At Lookner on Twitter is where you can reach me, at Lookner on Twitter. Thank you to Misha for their donation. I appreciate that, Misha. So this story, we're gonna go through all the details here. But this story started out on November 14th, actually a month ago exactly, when Steve got his last haircut. And normally, Steve reportedly takes about a month between each haircut, but something worse that happened this time, something which made the situation even more urgent, is the haircut Steve got, unbeknownst to him, was not the best haircut. It left hair long in certain places that even after a couple of weeks, Steve noticed the hair was getting long. So that really a big reason for this crisis is the previous haircut left some areas long that were noticeably long even as soon as a week after that haircut. So the seeds for this crisis were laid with the last haircut. By the way, thank you to our moderators. We have Linda Belk and Upstate Dad and Lamar Watkins, and they are all there. And so that's where this started. And some analysts have argued, if you ask analysts, some of them might even claim that Steve needed a haircut a week after the previous haircut because of some of the length that was being seen on the hair only a week after a haircut, when, as I said, the average is about 4 or 5 weeks between the haircut. So, but it is getting to be a crisis situation. It is especially a crisis. Well, we'll get into the details of that in a moment. But first, you might be wondering, what does Steve have to say about this? Well, we here at Lookner News were able to get an exclusive interview today with Steve Lookner, and I want to show you some of that interview. The first clip I'm going to show you is, here's what Steve had to say. He did actually go on record and say he needed a haircut. So let's hear it from Steve himself. Earlier today, exclusive interview, what Steve had to say about this breaking news. And let me just do this. I think we're good to go. Hang on. Okay, here we go. Hang on a second here.
Yeah, I do. I do need a haircut. I really don't have an excuse. It's something I really do need to do. I just haven't really gotten to it. But yeah, it's pretty bad.
So you can hear he does admit needing it. His excuse is that he hasn't gotten to it. And so, I don't know how you feel about that, but he does. This is not something that Steve is denying. He is on record in this exclusive interview saying he needs the haircut. So anyways, I'm going to give you some more details on this. I'd like to get some of your comments and questions. If you have if you have any comments or questions, or if you're hearing any updates, give me a shout on Twitter, at Lookner on Twitter. I'd like to hear from you. Let's see here. Let's see. Amy thinks that Steve should not cut his hair. I don't know about that. It seems like the haircut is really needed. Well, we'll talk a little more about that, about why that is in a second. Let's see here. Steve Chapman in the chat room calls Steve a shameful procrastinator. Robert Carley says, how much is a haircut in Atlanta? Good question. A haircut in Atlanta, well, it depends on where you go. If you go to one of the chain stores like Great Clips or Supercuts, they would cost, something about in the realm of $16, $18, $20. Probably I think it's 18 at Supercuts and maybe 16 at Great Clips. Oh, and I'm sorry, we're talking about price. This just in. I have some new Steve hair news just in. We have learned here at Lookner News that at Steve's previous haircut, which was at Supercuts, he did purchase, they had a special deal going on, 4 haircuts for $50. That is a significant discount over their normal price. The normal price, I believe, may be $17. So Steve took advantage, again, we have confirmed this, Steve took advantage of the deal at Supercuts to purchase the 4 for $50 deal, which works out to $12.50 per haircut. Now, not only, I have reliable sources tell me that not only did Steve take advantage of this deal because the per haircut price is significantly less, but Steve also reportedly took advantage of this deal because Steve does like to get his haircut kind of frequently. He thinks it looks better on camera when it's not getting all messy. But, it's at a certain point, you're not going to be able to afford to go to get a haircut every day. So another reason to get the 4 for $50 deal is to feel okay about getting haircuts more often. And actually, I'm sorry, this is just in. We just got this information in. It turns out that Steve actually bought 2 of the 4 for $50 deals. So Steve bought 8 for $100 haircuts from Supercuts, which should cover him for a little while. Now, this is unconfirmed. It's unconfirmed that Steve was considering even buying a 3rd or 4th deal, but he's not sure how long he'll be in Atlanta, and so he thought the prudent thing to do. It even crossed his mind that, say, if some horrible accident happened to him and he couldn't ever get a haircut again, he wouldn't want to be out all that money. So Steve reportedly settled on 2 4 haircuts for $50 deals from Supercuts as the best, most prudent course of action for him. Okay, so that's just, I'm sorry, it's a little bit of a tangent from the main story, but we just got that information in and I wanted to share it with you. Hey, thanks so much, Trump Sword, for your donation. That's very kind of you, Trump Sword. Thank you also, Timothy Culebra. I appreciate that, Timothy, very much. And I think I might have missed one donation. Look, that is what allows me to do Lookner News full time, is your support. So I really do appreciate the donations. Let me just make sure I didn't miss one here. I thought maybe I missed one. Do I have the link here? I'll get the link up on the screen. Okay. Timothy Culebra, I think, made a couple of them. Oh, Daniel Teagarden as well. Thank you, Daniel Teagarden. Okay, so we have more news coming for you on this story. There's plenty more to tell you. There's a lot more detail to give you on this story. So let's get into it. Oh, thank you so much, Sharon Underwood. Sharon thinks Steve should stream the haircut. I'm not sure a major haircut chain like the kind Steve goes to would allow live streaming of a haircut. Perhaps it would need to be a covert kind of thing. But I'm not sure they'd allow that. Now, I will say this, from what I know of Steve, there have maybe been places in the past where he frequented enough that if he that he knew the people well enough that he could ask him. But I do have it on reliable sources that the turnover in Atlanta haircut place is high, and Steve has not established a long-term haircut relationship with any particular store or hair cutters. So probably would not be able to anytime soon stream a haircut live. So we again are covering this breaking news. Steve Lookner, who, if you watched his streams last week, he said on the streams, I need a haircut. He knew he needed a haircut. Yet here we are. It is December 14th. This is becoming a crisis, and it's making it harder for him to stream. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna. If you want to know why this is such a crisis, this came up today. As I mentioned, we got an exclusive interview earlier today with Steve Lookner, and he actually mentioned, I asked him, I said, well, so why is this such a crisis? Can you, what is it about this? We know it's a crisis, but can you really say, like, what is it that makes this a big crisis? And he actually gave he talked about this in this exclusive interview. So let me just get that up here for you, and we'll show you that, and you can hear from Steve why this presents such a crisis. Okay, hang on. I think we're good to go. Are we ready here? Okay, this is from our exclusive interview earlier today with Steve.
Yeah, it's been a real issue because when my hair gets longer, what happens is, so if like I wake up and then I'm going to cover some breaking news, and I might have to cover it like right away, and I don't really, I don't want to take a shower, and I want to just go right on the air because it might be something that's breaking news. But like you see, like my hair starts sticking up in the back and on the edges and stuff. It's actually not even so bad now. It's like a big gamble when you wake up. How's your hair going to be? But when it gets too long, very frequently you wake up and it's like sticking way out. You have like the bedhead thing, and so. Then it's a real problem because like I might have to go on and cover some big breaking news story. I don't have time to take a shower, and then my hair looks terrible. And it's like, and then people are like, who is this person? Why should I be listening to this person telling me about breaking news when, their hair is just really weird and clearly like not, it's not like intentionally weird. It's just like unkempt and too long. So why should I listen to that person?
So you see what he's saying. He's saying that, the major issue here is that, when the hair gets too long, when he wakes up, it can be kind of crazy looking, very long, especially in the back. And, so if he's going to style it, he needs to take a shower, but there can be breaking news right when he wakes up. So what do you do then? So really a big issue with the haircuts is getting it to a short enough length that you can just wake up and go. And Steve is saying that is posing a major issue for him right now. And yet in spite of that, he has not gotten a haircut yet. So it's a crisis situation for Steve Lookner, and we're covering it live right here. If you have comments, if you have questions, let me know what you think. We're asking you what you think. At Lookner on Twitter is where you can reach me. Let me see if there's any more messages here. Let's see here. Benjamin Wilkie. Now, this is very interesting. This is very interesting what Benjamin said. Benjamin says, Steve has previously demonstrated this preemptive buying behavior when he bragged on camera about purchasing multiple pairs of the same running shoes because they fit really well. Now, I don't even remember this. I mean, Benjamin is quite a Steve expert because I don't remember this time. There have been times in the past where Steve has purchased multiple pairs of shoes, but those weren't running shoes. They were like everyday shoes. Perhaps, Benjamin, you're confusing the running shoes with the everyday shoes. I don't remember. I'm not aware recently that Steve has purchased multiple pairs of running shoes. Yeah, I mean, it's as I mentioned. If you missed it, we're going. I'm not going to go over this all again. But we just got this news in during the broadcast that Steve he purchased 2 of the 4 for $50 Supercuts haircut deals during his November 14th haircut. at Supercuts. That's the haircut that really contributed to this haircut crisis, because apparently that haircut was just too long. It didn't really look, it was one of those cuts reportedly that didn't look long when you walk out of the Supercuts. But a week later, you're looking in the mirror and you're saying, whoa, why is my hair so long? I just got my hair cut a week ago. You're waking up a week later and you're starting to see you got the bedhead hair that sticks up in the back when, you shouldn't be getting that a week after the haircut. But he did, one could argue that the badness of that haircut is somewhat compensated by the fact that he was able to take advantage of the 4 for $50 deal and buy 2 of the cards. Okay, hey, thank you, by the way, so much, Julie Graves, for your support. Thank you, Julie, for your support for Lookner News. Julie says, I believe Steve truly believes deep down he's ready for a haircut. He has finally worked through the denial. Please accept this donation to the Steve Needs a Haircut Fund. Well, thank you, Julie. Now, given that Steve did purchase these 4 for $50 Supercuts cards, he won't need... He will not need to pay cash for the next 8 haircuts, but he will put that, I can ask if he will put that towards the 9th haircut, for which he will no longer have the cards. Misha, thank you, Misha. Misha says she likes the background and that he deserves a hair sponsor. Thank you, Misha, and thank you for your support, Misha. This background is a background used to be used on Agenda Free TV. We did thank you to Agenda Free TV. Agenda Free TV kind enough to give us permission to use their background for this broadcast, their old background. So I really do appreciate on the behalf of Agenda Free TV. Okay, let me take some more comments from you guys here. Pixie23 thinks this is Russian cut illusion. That's from Pixie23. Let's see here. Trauma Queen says Steve is brutally honest about his hair. That's the first step in recovery. Okay, so, we've been talking about Steve's hair. And, by the way, thanks again to our moderators. We have Upstate Dad, we have Garth Russell, we have Rusty Jeeve, we have Lamar Watkins, we have Contao Creek in the YouTube chat room, and Erstazi. And let me remind you, so Lookner News is the place to get the best Lookner news, right here at the Lookner channel. You're not going to get better Lookner news. I defy you to find a place on YouTube where you can get better Lookner news than at the Lookner channel. So if you're looking for Lookner news, breaking news, I encourage you subscribe to the Lookner channel. And if you subscribe, click the notifications bell, choose all notifications. Make sure you have the bell selected and all notifications selected, because if you don't want to miss live breaking Lookner news when we're reporting it. Okay, so what I want to do next is, I'm guessing a bunch of people, I'm looking at the chat room right now. Let me just check the chat room for a second. Yeah, so sorry. So Smedley in the chat room says, so the issue is just getting there to the haircut place? Yeah, you might be wondering, I mean, one thing we haven't addressed, which you might, I'm guessing a question a lot of you have is, so why hasn't Steve got a haircut yet? He knew he needed a haircut as of a week ago. He reportedly knew he needed it a week after the last haircut. Why hasn't he gotten one yet? Well, actually, in my exclusive interview earlier today with Steve, I asked Steve that question. I said, Steve, what's the deal? Why haven't you got a haircut yet? For example, why didn't you just get it yesterday? Why didn't you get it on Friday? So let me show you what Steve had to say about that. He gave an answer about that, and I want to show you what Steve had to say in our exclusive interview with him yesterday about the haircut. So here's what Steve had to say when I asked him why he hadn't gotten it yet. Let's check this out.
Well, like I had some time yesterday, but like Friday is normally not a good day to do it, because like I live like kind of near like a bunch of college kids, and like they all like to get their hair cut on Fridays and Saturdays because they're going out, and a lot of times Thursdays too, so it gets really crowded. and like I don't really want to sit, half an hour and get my hair cut. And then some of these places, like if you go to Supercuts or Great Clips, like you can sign in early on the app, but it doesn't matter because like if it's really crowded, and people show up before you sign in, they'll take them first. So I can't take that risk of going to the hair place and you're there for half an hour and then you've wasted that time. So I'll probably I'll probably wait until early in the week to do it next week.
So there you go. That's what he said. He said it's a question of. I asked him, why didn't you do it for yesterday? He said yes. He said Friday's a bad day. He said that if you sign in on the app, it's not always. It doesn't mean you're not going to have to wait, and so didn't want to wait. So that's why it didn't get done yesterday. So not really clear when it's going to get done. Hey, give me a shout if you have comments. We're talking about this Lookner breaking news. Steve still needs a haircut, even though on the live streams last week he was saying he needed a haircut. Give me a shout. Taking your comments and questions on the air at Lookner on Twitter is where you can reach me. Let's see. Jeff Furrow has a question about the 4 for $50 deal. He says, did Steve do his homework on this deal? Is it good at any Supercuts location? Does it have an expiration date? I am not sure. I believe Steve asked about an expiration date and they said it doesn't have any. As for location, unless there's some unanticipated change of where Steve lives, by far the Supercuts is the more convenient choice for Steve. So I don't think that using up 8 haircuts, should not be a problem for Steve. So he did do due diligence on this, Jeff. But thank you for asking. It's a fair question to ask if he did due diligence. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, so this is what Timothy says, when I see an unkempt news anchor, I stop watching. And what Steve was saying is, he's concerned that if he goes on the air, why would anyone trust that person when they're reporting on breaking news if somebody has their hair sticking up in the back, So it's a fair question. And it's a fair point. Let's see here. Linda Santangelo sent a meme in. She thinks it should be this style. That's from Linda Santangelo. Okay, so anyways, hold on a second here. Captain Featherhat says, let it grow. Get best dollar per inch haircut value. That's what Captain Featherhat suggested. So look, as we heard in the interview with Steve that we just showed you, he was kind of vague. So Steve was kind of vague about when he would get this done, okay? In the interview earlier today, our exclusive interview with Steve, he was kind of vague about when this would get done. And so, before I came on the air to do this, shortly before I came on the air, I knew that people would want more information about when this haircut was getting done. So I reached out to Steve, and I tried to get in touch with Steve for another interview. And I couldn't get in touch with him for another interview, but Steve's publicity person did send me a statement on behalf of Steve. So I want to just show you that statement. So this is the statement, again, when I reached out to Steve just before the broadcast, and I asked if he could be a little more specific about when this haircut would get done. He did. He was not available for an interview, but he did send a statement. And so let me show you the statement that Steve sent. Steve sent the statement that said, I can't really give a firm time on the haircut right now. It's hard. I'm on a late schedule from covering late night news events. When I wake up, I don't want to go get a haircut right away because I'd rather be catching up with the news and doing news streams. And then I have to eat lunch, which ends up being late. And by the time I'm done, the haircut places are starting to close. I assure everyone that I am making the best effort to get my haircut as expediently as possible. So I'm sorry I couldn't get you a more firm time for his haircut. That's the best I could do. That's the statement he went with. So hopefully it's soon. I'm sure you hope it's soon too, but I can't get you a firm time. So that's really, that's the best I can do. All right. So anyway, so some people think that's fake news. Well, again, he didn't really commit to anything. He's kind of seems to be hedging a bit there. All right, we'll take a few more comments here before we wrap up. If you have comments on this story, give me a shout on Twitter. @Lookner on Twitter is where you can reach me. Let's see here. TLDFW says, if I go to Supercuts, does Steve get a percentage? No, it is not like Amazon affiliates, unfortunately. It would be helpful to Steve if it were, but it is not. Let's see here. Grog Vaughn says Steve should get a picture of Paul Rudd and take it with him to Supercuts. Steve has never brought a photo with him to a haircut place. I know some people do like to do that. Steve has never done that. Let's see here. Benjamin Wilkie says multiple sources have indicated that the Supercuts will not take walk-ins ahead of customers who have used their online reservation system, calling into question the legitimacy of his justification for not getting the critical trim. Look, all I can say, Benjamin, I'm not sure what sources you have, is all I can say is from personal experience and from reports I have heard, as well as personal experience, if you go to the big chains like Supercuts or Great Clips, just because you have a reservation doesn't mean they're not taking somebody before you. So it just happens. Hayden Animations from New Zealand says, I'm getting a haircut this week. Well, thank you for the donation, Hayden Animations. Okay, yeah, now I agree. Dr. Memes says Fox News is not even covering this. Once again, we cover a story that the big networks tend to be focused on Trump stuff a lot, and you miss a lot of the big Lookner stories. So we're trying to fill in here. You won't miss them here, I'll tell you that. Let's see here. Okay. Oh Hi Leanne says that Steve's statement about why he hasn't gotten a haircut yet kind of sounds like an excuse to me. That's what Oh Hi Leanne said. Steve McCurry says this is scandalous. All right. Well, guys, I think we've just about covered everything here on this story. I will certainly be keeping an eye out for more news about Steve's haircut situation. So if you do want to get the latest Lookner news, there's really only one place you can subscribe to and one place you go. That is the Lookner channel. You should, if you want to get this Lookner news, subscribe. If you subscribe on YouTube, remember, you got to click the button, you got to click the notifications bell click the bell and then choose all notifications. Actually, one thing Steve mentioned to me when I was talking to him earlier today in our exclusive interview, he said he actually looked up on YouTube analytics, and there's a surprising number of people who subscribe to the channel who either haven't clicked the bell and enabled all notifications, or have clicked the bell and enabled all notifications, but they don't have like the notifications enabled on their phone or their PC. So there's all these people who want the content but haven't made sure that they're going to get the notifications. So be sure to check that. Also, there is I know there is a Discord that fans of the Lookner channel and Agenda Free TV go to. It's an unofficial fans Discord, where if you sign up for that, reliable sources say if you sign up for the Discord, which is free, you get great notifications for both channels. So maybe one of the moderators can put the Discord link in our chat room. But be sure to subscribe. Also, I'm guessing there will be a lot of opinions, I'm guessing there'll be a lot of conversation about this breaking news. If you'd like to, you can have that conversation in the comments area under the broadcast. As soon as this broadcast ends, right when the broadcast ends, the comments open up. And Steve told me he may be participating in the comments discussion a bit. So if you want to leave comments, if you want to let Steve know what you think, post a comment after the broadcast in the comments section. Also, you can also leave feedback, quick feedback. Did you like the broadcast? Did you not like the broadcast? Thumbs up, thumbs down on YouTube. Okay, hey, thank you, RetroCom, for the donation. Retro says, very reliable news source, more reliable than CNN. Hey, thank you. Oh, and thank you. Somebody made a donation here. Susan Widener. Susan Widener made a donation. She said she enjoys the Lookner channel. And actually, Susan took advantage of Lookner.net. Not many people know about Lookner.net. Lookner.net is the way you can donate to the Lookner channel. Besides the YouTube chat room, you can also use Lookner.net. So that's another option for you. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to take a few more comments here. S. Mary Demner says this is very controversial. I don't know if I'm buying Steve's, like some of you, I don't know if I'm buying his excuses for not getting a haircut yet. Let's see here. Dorothy Smith said she just rang the bell, the notifications bell. Good that you rang the bell, but make sure you also have to choose all notifications. Got to ring the bell and choose all notifications. Ojai thinks Lookner News has an agenda. Neil says, this is the kind of breaking news I signed up for. Okay. And thank you, Hijinks, for saying thanks for the broadcast. Oh, Ray says, try Sports Clips Steve. Ask for the massage. I actually asked Steve earlier today if he'd ever been to a Sports Clips. He said he had been to it once, and he was highly disappointed because it was not like the commercial. That's what Steve's told me about that. Grog Vaughn says, alert TMZ. Yeah, see, now this is what Gina says, and you know, look, this is part of why we do this. Gina says, "Thank you for covering this. Absolutely, no one else is covering this." And so, you know, we're here to give you the latest Lookner news. You know, again, a lot of the other media is focused on impeachment so much that they're missing stories like this. So, you're welcome, Gina. It's our pleasure. Todd McQuistion says, "Make sure Supercuts is not near the road plates." I believe it is sufficiently away from the road plates to not get the noise, but with the new road plate noise, I'm not so sure about that. Okay, and thank you to all of our moderators. Garth Russell, Contow Creek. Linda Belk, thank you for moderating. Upstate Dad, thank you for moderating. Lamar Watkins, thank you. And Arthur Cotman, thank you for the donation, Arthur Cotman. I appreciate that. Thank you. And again, I will post if I hear more at Lookner on Twitter. And Rascally Rabbit says, why is this the first I'm hearing? I'm not sure. I'm just telling you, know, we bring you the news when we find out about it. And if you missed it, Steve himself did post an update on the situation with the road plates. He posted earlier tonight. So if you missed it, you can find that on his channel. You can see it says right here, stupid road plates still driving me crazy. That's where you can find that right there. So apparently these stupid road plates are still driving Steve crazy. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to wrap up this live stream. We have been bringing you this breaking news about Steve still needing a haircut. I really appreciate your comments and questions, your help in covering this news. Thank you for writing in and sharing your thoughts. We have hold on a second. We have a suggestion here from moderator Mark Helton. Mark says, cut it like this. That's how Mark wants the haircut. I will pass that suggestion along to Steve. Mark, thank you. And that's it. All right, guys. Thank you for saying thank you. Thank you for joining. Idaho Star was moderating. Thank you. And all the other moderators who we were saying before, thank you for saying thank you. And thanks, everybody, for joining. You know, we got Hijinks and Christian Marie and Fredo and General Manliest and Dawson and Wendy and everybody, Bite Back, everybody else there. Rhonda G, Psycho Mystic. April Coco says, keep us updated on this story. Will do. Definitely will do. Rhonda G, thank you. And oh, hi, Leanne. S. Mary Demner. And everybody else out there. Thank you, Steve Chapman. And thank you, JB. And LJD. And Hayden Animations. And Arthur Cotman. And thank you, Flora Kagan. Oh, and Green-Eyed Lady. Green-Eyed Lady posted the Clippers emojis. Great job, Green-Eyed Lady. Thank you, Vivian Lund. Ray Whitsack says we'll be expecting a follow-up. Thank you, Sarah0055. And thank you, Trauma Queen. And Curious Kitty and CRT. And Lion Wings. All right, guys, wrapping up this live stream. Thank you so much for joining. We will keep you informed about Lookner News. That's it for now. We'll see you soon with more Lookner News right here on the Lookner channel.